and would dedicate the merit thus gained to the supreme enlightenment, would they on the strength of that beget much merit? Subhuti. They would, O Lord. The Lord. A greater merit does that son or daughter of good family beget who demonstrates the perfection of wisdom to others, and dwells in attentions associated with the knowledge of all modes. He then reaches a cognition where he becomes worthy of the donations of all beings. And why? No other being has such a dwelling as the bodhisattva, the great being, except of course the tathagata. And why? Because these sons of good family, when they course in the perfection of wisdom, aspire for the great friendliness, and see all beings as on the way to their slaughter. They aspire for the great compassion. Dwelling in that dwelling, they rejoice with the great sympathetic joy, and aspire for the great sympathetic joy. But they do not become intimate with that sign, but acquire the great impartiality. This, subhuti, is of those bodhisattvas, the great light of wisdom, the light of the six perfections. Even before they are fully enlightened they become worthy of the donations of all beings, for they do not turn away from full enlightenment. Dwelling in attentions associated with the perfection of wisdom, they purify the donations of those who give them the requisites of life, and they are near the knowledge of all modes. Therefore, then, subhuti, the bodhisattva should constantly and always dwell in this mental work associated with perfect wisdom. If he does not want to consume his alms fruitlessly, if he wants to point out the path to all beings, to shed light over a wide range, to liberate the beings imprisoned in the triple world, to produce the supreme eye of wisdom in all beings. If the bodhisattva dwells in these attentions associated with perfect wisdom, he should also preach sermons associated with the perfection of wisdom. In its distinctive own being, the growth consists in attentions to the perfection of wisdom. When he has preached sermons associated with the perfection of wisdom, he should dwell in just these attentions associated with the perfection of wisdom, and give no opportunity to other mental activities. Day and night he should persistently dwell in just these attentions associated with the perfection of wisdom. If a man had newly acquired a very precious gem, he would be overjoyed. If he lost it again, he would be most sad and distressed. Constantly and always mental activities associated with that precious gem would proceed in him, and he would regret being parted from it. Just so should the bodhisattva, the great being, recognizing this perfect wisdom as a precious jewel, not lack in attentions associated with the knowledge of all modes. Subhuti. Since, however, all mental activities are lacking in own being, are empty of own being, how then can the bodhisattva become one who is not lacking in acts of attention associated with the knowledge of all modes? For how can one apprehend the bodhisattva, his acts of attention and the knowledge of all modes, in that which is deprived of them? The Lord. If the bodhisattva cognizes thus, devoid of own being are all dharmas. They have not been made by the disciples, nor by the Pratyeka Buddhas, nor even by the Buddhas, the Lords. But just a fact is the dharmahood of these dharmas. The established order of dharma. The fixed sequence of dharmas, the suchness, non-falseness, unaltered suchness, the dharma element, the reality limit, then the bodhisattva is not lacking in perfect wisdom. And why? Because this perfection of wisdom is in its own being isolated and empty, and it neither increases nor decreases. The growth which in its own form is the gaining of the preeminent patient acceptance of that which fails to be produced. Subhuti. If, O Lord, the perfection of wisdom in its own being is isolated and empty, how is it that the bodhisattva, the great being, thanks to the full possession of the perfection of wisdom, wins full enlightenment? The Lord. When in full possession of the perfection of wisdom, the bodhisattva, the great being, neither increases nor decreases. Nor does the reality limit or the dharma element. And why? because the perfection of wisdom is neither one nor two. If the bodhisattva, when this is being taught, is not cowed, does not lose heart, and remains unafraid, then one can be quite certain that he stands in the irreversible element, and is in fact one who courses in perfect wisdom. Subhuti. It is, then, this emptiness of the perfection of wisdom, its nullity, insignificance, voidness and insubstantiality, which courses in perfect wisdom. The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Can one, then, outside the perfection of wisdom apprehend a dharma which courses in perfect wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Does, then, perhaps the perfection of wisdom course in perfect wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Does, then, perhaps the emptiness course in emptiness? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Does, then, perhaps something outside emptiness course in perfect wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Do, then, the skandhas course in perfect wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Do, then, the 6 perfections course in perfect wisdom, too? Do the 18 special dharmas of a Buddha course in perfect wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Does. Then, the emptiness of form, its nullity, vanity, insubstantiality, suchness, non-falseness, unaltered suchness, its dharmahood, dharma element, fixed sequence of dharma, reality limit, course in the perfection of wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Does, then, the emptiness, too, reality limit of all dharmas up to the 18 special Buddha dharmas course in the perfection of wisdom? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. If, O Lord, these dharmas do not course in perfect wisdom, how then again does the bodhisattva, the great being, course in perfect wisdom? The Lord. What do you think, subhuti? Do you review that dharma which courses in the perfection of wisdom? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. What do you think, subhuti? Do you review that perfection of wisdom in which the bodhisattva should course? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. What do you think, subhuti? Can one perhaps apprehend the dharma which you do not review? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. What do you think, subhuti, that dharma which one cannot apprehend, will that be produced or stopped? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. This, subhuti, is of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, the patient acceptance of dharmas which fail to be produced. Endowed with this kind of patience, a bodhisattva is predicted by the Buddhas, the Lords, to the supreme enlightenment. He is bound to progress to the tathagata's grounds of self-confidence and his analytical knowledges. When he thus courses, thus strives, and struggles, then it is quite impossible that the bodhisattva should not reach the cognition of the supremely enlightened Buddhas, the great cognition, the cognition of the knowledge of all modes. And why? Because that bodhisattva has attained the patient acceptance of dharmas which fail to be produced. And he cannot lose any of these dharmas until he has known full enlightenment. The growth which has for its mark the fact that it offers no basis for the apprehension of the real existence of the persons who win enlightenment, or of the dharma which is known to enlightenment. Subhuti. It is, then, for the production of all dharmas that a bodhisattva is predicted to full enlightenment. The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Is it, then, for the non-genesis of all dharmas that a bodhisattva is so predicted? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. Is it, then, for neither genesis nor non-genesis that he is so predicted? The Lord. No, subhuti. Subhuti. If he is predicted neither for genesis nor for non-genesis, how then does just now here the prediction of this bodhisattva to full enlightenment take place? The Lord. Do you see as real that dharma which is predicted to full enlightenment? Subhuti. No, O Lord, I do not see as real that dharma which is predicted to full enlightenment, or also that dharma which is fully known, or whereby it is fully known, or him who fully knows it. The Lord. So it is. Subhuti. So it is. When he does not apprehend all dharmas, it does not occur to the bodhisattva. I will fully know, through this dharma I will fully know, this one will fully know. And why? Because all these discriminations do not exist in the bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom. And why? Because the perfection of wisdom does not discriminate. End chapter 55.